The director of the CDC says the government is moving quickly to get a vaccine ready to fight this new strain of flu.
Dr. Thomas Frieden, an infectious disease expert, took over the helm of the country's biggest health agency this week.
And today he sat down with Health Watch reporter Beth Galvin to talk about the flu and his controversial track record. Beth?
And Russ and Lisa, Dr. Frieden is coming to the job at a critical time for the CDC and the world. Because with this new virus now in 70 countries across the globe, many people are looking to the CDC for answers. And Dr. Frieden says he's going to do his best to try to get us through this crisis.
The virus is here. It's in all likelihood here to stay.
In his first press conference as head of the nation's top health agency, Dr. Thomas Frieden says the announcement we're facing a flu pandemic is not a surprise. Scientists here have been bracing for it for months. Americans will hear the word pandemic, and that's kind of a terrifying word. What do you think is the take-home message here today?
Pandemic is a scary word, but what we're not seeing is an inordinate number of deaths. We're not seeing the kind of severity that we saw in 1918.
But Dr. Frieden says trying to predict where this virus will go next and how to protect those most vulnerable to it are the top priorities right now. Do you feel like we will be ready if we do see a surge of cases in the fall?
Readiness is something that we always have to try to improve. So I'm very pleased that we've made the decisions that we have to proceed with making the vaccine. Whether it works out, only time will tell, and whether we use it, only time will tell. But it's better safe than sorry. I'd rather over-prepare than under-prepare. At 48, Dr. Frieden has earned a reputation as a health crusader of sorts in his 7 years as the head of New York City's health department, banning smoking in public workplaces, telling restaurants to take unhealthy trans fats off their menus, and to post calorie counts for everything they serve. Are you going to continue that kind of aggressive approach? My approach has always been to figure out what works and then see what can be implemented from what works. Now, CDC is a very different environment from New York City. CDC primarily assists and advises. But Dr. Frieden says getting Americans to quit smoking is something he will always be passionate about. This year in the U.S., more than 400,000 Americans will be killed by tobacco. That's more than 1,000 people every single day. But does this guy push too far into people's personal lives? I think it's been described as the nanny state. You know, do you push people too hard to take responsibility for their health? Health is a shared responsibility. Right now, if you go with the flow in the U.S., you're going to wind up overweight or obese. That's not because we've gotten greedier. It's not because our genes have changed. It's because our environment has changed. And Dr. Frieden says he believes it's the CDC's job to help Americans make healthier choices about things like what they eat, what they drink, whether or not they exercise. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to talk to him more about his style of leadership, which has at times been very controversial, and the issue of morale at the CDC. And Russ and Lisa, that's something that's sort of been talked about for a while. A lot of people saying that they feel like at the agency, politics has kind of trumped science, and they want to get back to the science. We're going to talk to him about that.
And right now is a challenging time for a change in leadership.
You couldn't ask that for a more critical time.
Certainly a challenging year for the CDC. Beth Galvin, thanks.